Well, thank you, everybody, today for joining this presentation, how to leverage MedPAR for benchmarking. This is a presentation by MedeAnalytics. Greg Krantz, that's me. I'm your presenter for today. Just a little bit about my background. I'm a director of product marketing for MedeAnalytics. Specifically our compliance and ICD-10 Solutions. I have worked with several different hospitals and health systems to basically implement analytics and workflow technology that address the challenges basically that hospital executives face today. Obviously the environment is always changing, and I really help hospital leaders mainly with the transition to ICD-10 and with compliance. And when I say compliance, I mean basically taking both a proactive and a reactive approach to all of the various government audits, specifically around RAC, but also Medicaid and commercial audits as well. And I'll talk today on more of the proactive side, how you can reduce the RAC audits, but we'll go into that in a bit. I also have worked in a prior life as a consultant working with hospital systems to basically improve revenue cycle operations and financial outcomes. And these things are all related to actually what I do today as well. I am a member of HCCA and HFMA as well. All right, so let's briefly review today's agenda. This presentation, like I said, is all about how to effectively leverage MedPAR data with the ultimate goal of reducing RAC takebacks by taking a proactive approach to improving coding and documentation risk. The difference between the proactive and the reactive is that the reactive approach is basically just responding to all of the different audits that you're getting from RAC and the various other government auditors. The proactive approach is actually doing something internally now to improve coding and documentation risk areas so that you can essentially prevent future takebacks. So today I'm mainly going to be showing you methodologies to identify the takeback risk that the government auditors actually will use themselves to identify target hospitals. We're going to be really focusing on how to narrow down peer groups with MedPAR data. That's the first kind of agenda item. So MedPAR is national data that you can get from CMS and various other kind of third-party vendors, but it's really too broad a data set to make an effective comparison. So the first item is going to be how to narrow it down to your peer group. It's really critical to do this, otherwise it's not going to be comparing apples to apples. And then we're going to be looking at 4 key benchmarking metrics that can be used to make insightful comparisons. So the first is MCC capture rate. And basically what these are just the proportion of major complications, and without complications and major complications within a DRG grouping. And we'll certainly go into more detail on that later. Payment data. So this is pretty self-explanatory. This is simply the payments received for claim. Average length of stay. So how long are physicians keeping patients, and how does that compare to benchmarking data? Case mix index. So how complex are your services compared to peers? And then the final thing we're going to look at is basically a dashboard view of key performance indicators to see really how it all comes together, how these metrics can help compare against your benchmark peers, and really what that means in terms of taking that proactive approach to reducing RAC audits. Okay, so now with the table set here, let's get started. So what is MedPAR data? So before we get into the uses and the benefits of MedPAR, like I mentioned before, to reduce RAC takebacks, we want to clearly define what exactly MedPAR data is. So MedPAR is the Medicare Provider Analysis and Review file, and it contains 100% of all Medicare fee-for-service claims. So the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, also known as CMS, as we know, collects and releases data for all U.S. hospital inpatient stays for Medicare beneficiaries. So all hospitals receiving funds from Medicare must submit their data to CMS. In the most recent year available, 6,133 hospitals had data reported in the MedPAR file.